Hello, welcome to Jeenalavie. Today we are here at Mesa Grande Indian Reservation. With us today, Jason, a seasoned metal sculptor. We are here, we will talk to Jason today and know more about himself and his work and his life and what he's doing. Jason, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Or what you do, about your background?
Sure. I'm mixed Cupa. My name is Jason Montgomery Hamilton. From the Mesa Grande Band, and I'm an underwater welder by trade. I got injured on the job in my 20s and have been making metal sculpture ever since.
When did you think of starting metal sculpture?
I didn't have any idea I had any creativity whatsoever in me. I was always a ditch digger, my mentality. Like I had to have a specific task laid out for me, and it just had to be one job that had to be done. There's ground, put a hole in it, you know. But when I couldn't weld underwater anymore or work anymore, then I just felt an overwhelming need to keep melting metal. I just wanted to stick metal together. So I just bought an oxyacetylene torch and some scrap metal and started sticking it together, and it started coming out like art. It looked like stuff. It was just totally by accident.
That's great. So when you started, it's kind of like you felt inspired to continue with that?
I just wanted to weld. I'm addicted to welding. I struggle a little bit with mental health, and my mind works differently a little bit. So I'm not cut out for clerical or paperwork tasks or anything like that. I feel really comfortable when I'm just inside my mind, and that's why I like diving so much, because it was complete solitude and hard work. You know, it was just, you were left alone, there were no distractions. So it suited my personality really well.
That's great. So when you realize that your work has created this art form, so you continue with that, and do you think about a story when you create art?
Well, I do. The first piece that ever came out that I started thinking it was art was a fountain I made. And I made it because fountains, you have to make a little water manifold, so there's some technical, it felt like a job. You know what I mean? It felt like it had a purpose. I always had a hard time making art just for the sake of looking at it. I never felt value in that. You know, I needed a job. It had to serve a purpose. I made that fountain and it just clicked. And then I got a commission piece from a tribal member named Kachi, who wanted a mountain lion, her spirit animal, and representing her three children. And I was super nervous and super excited and worried that she'd like it. It caused a lot of stress, but when it came out and she loved it, I got the most rewarding feeling out of it. I just love commission work. It's just great.
So we are at Jason's workplace right now. This is his studio, where we wanna see some of his work that he's working on, and also some of the pieces that he has worked on, and talk more about it. So Jason, this is where you make your work?
It is, yeah. I have dreams of a steel building with a little more room, but I'm perfectly happy with it. It works perfect.
So are you currently working on something?
I'm making a dream catcher, and I have a couple pieces that I have to make for a guy, 2 Thunderbird dream catchers, shield dream catchers from the Chippewa tribe. He's a descendant, and he wants pieces for his sons.
Oh, that is pretty big dream catcher, right?
Yeah,
the one.
It is big. I'm not sure how it'll come out, but hopefully well.
How long does it take?
Depends. It takes a lot of staring. There's a lot of, it doesn't just make itself. There's a lot of staring. So it takes some time.
So do you like draw your ideas first?
Sometimes. I'm a terrible artist though when it comes to drawing. So I can't really depict the images. I can't put them on paper and have them actually look like I want to come out. I find it much more easier. I can visualize things vividly enough to where they stick in my mind and I can see them more clearly than I can draw them out.
Oh, okay.
I use templates sometimes, but not usually. I just freehand everything and just kind of go with the flow.
That's incredible. So Jason, what is your goal as a next step? Like where you want to be as an artist?
Well, I got lots of dreams. Honestly, my goal right now is just to make a little something every day. Not stress about the future or whatever, don't overthink it, and just create something every day. And what happens is what happens. And that's just my path right now.
That's great. So when you create arts, do you always have a message through that art?
I don't. One develops as I'm making it, but I don't always have a specific message in mind. Over time, I'm mixed, so being that way, I really appreciate the differences between cultures. So I like to represent certain aspects of every culture, but I find just native ways make more sense to me for my specific personality. And so I'd like to draw people into that culture through the iconography and represent it in metal, because copper lends itself really well to that style. It makes great feathers, and it makes great dream catchers, and it makes great shields, and the whole work. The colors work well for it. So I find myself doing that a lot. And also the only people that ever like my work is natives, so I find myself focusing on them.
So that's interesting you said that. So do you also want your art to actually known to people like from different?
I would love to. I have a pipe dream of doing stuff for the casinos. You know, getting a piece at a casino, a large fountain, or some sort of, bigger scale sculpture. But
that will happen.
Make it first.
So you have a very interesting life. The way you actually brought yourself as an artist and working on artwork right now. Do you want to talk about some of the challenges you faced in your life?
Oh, I'm a connoisseur of bad choices. It amazes me that my sister is so straight-laced and went to Stanford and is a neuropsychologist. And we had the exact same upbringing and opportunities, and we came out just polar opposites. But I'm happy. I'm not disappointed in the way I live or who I am. But I stayed completely to myself for the vast majority of my life. I didn't have any friends, and I wasn't comfortable around any people until I got hooked back up with my high school sweetheart in my 40s. And then I got a lot better, and I was able to be around people, and now I have friends and can hang out and stuff and go places, but I never did before. I wasn't comfortable around people.
You were always very introvert.
Very introverted. Introvert, extrovert. Anytime I was in public, I was the center of attention, but but I didn't like it.